Imagine a world where the word freedom has no meaning, a world where the Nazi regime would fall but conquered everything in its path. Sounds impossible? It almost happened. One wrong move by the Allies, and history would have taken a very dark turn. This isn't a movie plot. It's a terrifying alternate timeline that could have been our reality. In the early 1940s, Nazi Germany seemed unstoppable. They had conquered Poland, France, and much of Europe. Hitler's armies marched forward with one goal: world domination. By 1941, Britain was barely surviving under constant bombings, and the United States hadn't yet joined the war. Hitler's next big target? The Soviet Union. But here's where things got complicated. The invasion of the Soviet Union turned into a disaster. The brutal Russian winter and fierce resistance drained Germany's strength. Meanwhile, across the English Channel, the Allies were preparing something big: D-Day. D-Day marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. But what if it had gone differently? What if Hitler had defeated the Soviets or stopped the Allied invasion? Let's rewrite history for a moment. What if Germany had defeated the Soviet Union before the winter? With Moscow captured, Stalin's government might have collapsed. Without the Soviet Union, Germany could have turned all its attention to the West. And what if D-Day had failed? Without a foothold in Europe, the Allies would have struggled to launch another invasion. Germany would have fortified its hold over Europe and developed advanced weapons. Remember, Nazi scientists were already working on rockets and jet fighters far ahead of their time. If they had succeeded, they could have developed nuclear weapons before the United States. A world where Nazi Germany dominates Europe, controls the Soviet Union, and faces little resistance from the West isn't far-fetched. This could have been our reality. In this alternate timeline, the Nazis didn't just rule Europe. They shaped the world in their image. Imagine cities like London, Paris, and New York under Nazi control. Free speech? Gone. Books? Burned. Cultures? Erased. The Nazi regime believed in absolute control over thoughts, beliefs, and even who was allowed to exist. Minority groups, intellectuals, anyone who didn't fit their vision would have been eliminated. Entire populations wiped out in the name of a pure world. And what about America? Without the Soviet Union and Europe, the US would have been isolated. Facing a powerful Germany and Japan, they might have been forced into submission, or worse, faced invasion. But would the world have stayed silent forever? History shows us that even in the darkest times, resistance rises. In this alternate timeline, resistance movements would have formed across Europe, America, and Asia. Secret networks, guerrilla fighters, and underground newspapers could have kept the spirit of freedom alive. Over time, these movements might have grown stronger. They could have weakened the Nazi regime from within. But victory wouldn't have come quickly, or without unimaginable sacrifice. Thankfully, this terrifying future never happened. The Allies won, and democracy survived. But this alternate history reminds us of something important. Freedom isn't guaranteed. We came dangerously close to a different future, and if we forget the past, we risk repeating it. What do you think? Could the world have really looked like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more alternate histories that'll leave you thinking.